Hey everybody, Larry Sharp here again. Loving that you guys love me so much because I love all of you too. Absolutely, we are here again with more libertarians. We are libertarians drinking coffee live. I have my coffee. The brand is strong. By the way, that's my personal brand right there. There we go. So personal brand is strong. I have with me a man who I met, wow, it's got to be 2 years ago, give or take, maybe 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I met on my campaign when I was running for governor of New York. I still keep the cool shirt. I ran for governor, and all I got is this cool shirt. So, but it's very nice. I still keep the cool shirt. I met the man himself, a man running right now for Congress in Western New York, an entrepreneur, a man who loves New York, the man himself, Duane Whitmer. How are you, sir?
Hey, Larry. How you doing today? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. I'm very happy that you're here today. And for those of you who are watching, please make sure you like, you comment, and share. Then you hear that all the time, but here's why it matters. If you like and you comment and share, all the Facebook and the YouTube people and Twitter people, they like it, then they share it with others, and other people can see it better. So help me out, right? Help me out. I know I'm not running, so you don't write me a check. I love that. If any of you want to write me a check just because you love me, feel free. But you don't have to. Instead, just like, comment, and share. That helps everybody here. So please do that as soon as you can.
Or,
all right,
real quick,
go ahead.
You can also show your love for Larry by writing me a check. I mean, I'll take it.
Also, you can help to DuaneWimmer.com. Absolutely. If you want to help out Duane, feel free. I'm a big Duane supporter. I love Duane. I'm happy that he's doing what he's doing. So speaking of that, Duane, I mean, that's a great segue into this.
Yeah.
I mean, you're running for Congress. That is a big decision. It's a big thing. Obviously, it's a big deal. In New York State, we've had some victories locally, but we haven't had any nationally yet. In fact, across the country, we haven't had any nationally yet. So it's a big chunk. And I know when you first began this run, you were running against Chris Collins, who at that time was indicted, and he has since stepped down. Tell us that story. What's made you do this?
So what happened was, I'm going to segue back into why I became libertarian too in this answer, because it's going to answer two of your questions. Why am I running? Why this race? And why am I libertarian all in one? So 2012, 2013, I started getting involved in politics, and I didn't have a party. I didn't have one. I didn't know. I liked parts of the red team, parts of the blue team, but then at the end of the day, I realized they're both the same party. 23 years of war, $23 trillion of debt. They're the same party at a federal level. Let's be honest. It is what it is.
Yep.
You're going to see, you saw it with Biden and Trump. You see it with Hillary Trump. They're the same. So Gary Johnson turned me on to the Libertarian Party with some of his, not his antics, but just kind of some of the things he did and said. I said, I kind of like that he's kind of different. And so I started following him, voted for him in 2016, and didn't really get involved.
I love you say that. I did too. Right. Yeah. I was a big Gary Johnson fan. I came in because of him in 2012. Yeah.
Right. So he piqued my interest. I wasn't sure yet if I was ready to be a libertarian or vote libertarian, or maybe it was a one-time deal. Through Facebook ads, I saw you were coming to Buffalo, and I went to your event at 716 downtown Buffalo, and Gary started the movement to where I said, okay, maybe this is something I can take seriously. And you moved it further. You solidified that this party is a party that should be taken seriously. They're running good candidates I can relate to, I can trust, and I respect and enjoy. And so you moved the arrow further. And then getting involved in the libertarian movement, I saw, I met Cody Anderson out in Albany, Tony DeRazio, and, I met a lot of great people. And I said, this is a party that deserves to be taken seriously and deserves to be worked on. And so I thought to myself, I'm a weird libertarian. Let me explain that. When I took the I Side With quiz, I'm only 84% libertarian. So I'm not the most libertarian in the world. So a lot of libertarians are going to hate that. But I kind of came from an average voter group, and I'm the average voter. I was never really in politics. I was never in those deep philosophical conversations.
Yep.
And so I said, there's 100 million people like me in this country. How do we reach them? How do we support them? You did a good job with that with me. I kind of hit rock bottom and said, both parties have failed me. but I don't want to be involved in a debate club or this philosophical club. I don't have the time or the energy for these in-depth philosophical talks. I want action. And so then I met Jim Ostrowski through the movement and Steve Filano with 2A NYS.
These guys are 2A guys.
Yep. And I said, this is the party for me. This is it. I got to join this party. And so I decided to run because with Chris Collins stepping down and going to jail eventually, they're open a special election. So in June, it was April, it was supposed to be the end of this month. It moved back because of the coronavirus. There is one federal election on that day, and it's this race. Mm-hmm. So it's generating a lot of movement, a lot of press. And I said, the Libertarian Party needs to take advantage of these opportunities to put good Libertarian only, not cross-endorsed, not X parties, XYZ, but Libertarian only people in these races, because I'm generating press by existing.
Yep.
I said, Gary did a good job, you did a good job, and I'm trying to kind of further that. So maybe someone in Wyoming County says, well, I voted for Larry, I heard of him, he didn't do, what I thought he would do, but and now here I come, and they meet me and listen to me and say, oh, they are running serious candidates, they're running serious campaigns. They're not every 4 years we run for governor just to keep ballot access and then we piddle away. They're not like other third parties just cross-endorsing everyone they can. They're sticking to principles. They're sticking to the thing. I can put my faith in this party and grow with this party because there's going to be a lot of losses. There's going to be a lot of learning curves. There's going to be a lot of bumps in the road. But if you can put your faith behind these leaders who are going to say, look, I'm going to fight for you. I'm not a politician. I'm not political. I have no career experience in politics. And people say that's a bad thing. And I think it's a completely ignorant and incorrect statement. By saying running for Congress is a big jump, you're saying that we need to have career politicians. And it's not true. My expertise, I succeeded in the real world. I own an accounting practice. I started it at 25 years old. You mean to tell me I can't go to Congress and balance a budget when I do it for million-dollar multi-state corporations every day? I can't impact tax code when I read it every single day, and I know it better than these people that work for the IRS. I know it better than our current representatives now.
Yep.
It's factually untrue. I would put my resume up against 98% of the representatives we have in Congress today, and at 32 years old, I am confident my resume will compare to theirs, hands down. I've helped more small businesses. Yep.
Am I getting feedback? Are we have feedback?
I don't hear feedback.
You don't hear feedback. Okay, maybe it's me. Do you have headphones or earphones?
Somewhere around here. I'm going to have to go grab them, yeah.
No, I think I'm getting feedback. I don't know. I'll check for the comments, see if we're getting feedback or not. So, any case, I'm glad with that in mind. You talked about principles and ideas.
Yep.
Prior to this virus hitting, to it hitting, was there a number one issue that you were pushing? Was there something important that you were pushing that was really a big deal for you? Did you have a number one issue, or did you have one or two of them? Did you have? Obviously, you have a lot of issues. Yes. I'm just curious if you had like specific ones.
I had 4, but obviously we're pro-gun. That's simple. Obviously we're anti-war. That is simple. Those are issues. We're not even going to address those issues because that comes with being libertarian. And let's talk about pro-gun real fast, though. The Republicans, the legacy Republicans, like to say that the Republican Party is the pro-gun party. There's one problem with that. Larry, let me ask you this: who has the biggest victory against the SAFE Act since it was implemented? Jim Ostrowski, the libertarian attorney and activist. So you can tell me the Republican Party is and get out that gun vote is going to win. You're losing. You're failing. You need to evolve or do better. And that's why I joined 2A NYS. Steve Filano, you should have him on the show. The guy is, sidebar, what I love about working with Steve Filano is a lot of these news companies say, oh, this is a pro-gun group. You're gonna see men in, they stereotype the average gun owner as a guy in camo yelling, shall not be infringed, and the right to bear arms. And Steve comes
from my cold red hands.
Yes. And he's in a suit and tie and just goes on the offensive and just blasts the mentality of gun control people, and they can't handle it because it's not angry rambling. It's not the same dribble. We're gonna have a rally. we're going to have a rally. We're going to get the gun put out. He is saying, we're going to sue you. You can pass the laws. We're not going to comply. Just like the SAFE Act. Congratulations, you've accomplished nothing. We'll fight you in the courts. And they can't handle it because it's showing that they're useless. So that's the sidebar. So that's the guns. But my two real issues were taxation and small business reform. As a small business owner and as an accountant, we can really change the tax code to really, really support the working and middle class. It's quite simple. And and I'm not going to go into detail because everyone's going to fall asleep and never tune in again. But there's some really simple moves we can make in the tax code to make it so lower class and middle class people are drastically impacted. Removing the cap for student loan interest is one. Removing the deduction for health insurance. If you're a small business owner, you can actually deduct health insurance payments on your first page. It's not an itemized deduction. Doing that for everyone lowers your taxable income, so you're not paying, tax on stuff. Same thing with childcare. Just moving deductions to make them going from credits or from itemized deductions to just regular everyday deductions. You're lowering people's taxable income, which in turn is allowing them to pay less tax. No tax on Social Security income at any cap, because I actually met with a client this morning who retired last year, halfway through the year. He got crushed. His Social Security is taxable, 85% of it. And so he's getting hit with a tax bill. Your Social Security income, libertarians I'm not a huge fan of Social Security in general. It's a wonderfully designed pyramid scheme by the government, but there's no reason it should be taxed. You pay tax on it, and then when you get it, you're paying tax on it. It's double taxation. It makes no sense. Stuff like that. So mainly the tax code and really helping small business, using the tax code to really allow small businesses to compete, especially in New York. You saw it when you campaigned. New York State, let's talk about New York. I'm running a federal race, but let's talk about New York State because I live here. Least business-friendly environment, highest taxes, highest cost of it, one of the highest cost of employee states in the nation. Let's talk about, after this, I'm actually at 4:00 going and being on a radio show, and I'm talking about the impacts of the virus on small business and how New York State, with its progressive agenda, actually allows, and I'd love to talk about this not on this show, but somewhere else where you can implement this. New York State's progressive regulations actually supports and rewards fraud, whether it's contractors not getting comp, whether it's not paying your employees on the books, because it's significantly cheaper to commit fraud than comply with the regulations. And you can pass those savings on to your consumers. Stuff like that. So the government tends to not, and again, I'll bring up the members of Congress. I know some of them owned businesses and some of them are business owners and maybe have had success in their past, but a lot of these congressional creatures win publicity contests. They win popularity contests, and then they become career politicians because they can't succeed in the real world. I've succeeded in the real world. So it's simple as that. That's why you need to put someone who can succeed in the real world in office to help you guys succeed. But no, the two big things are
2A and taxes.
Yes.
All right. Now after COVID,
yes,
have things changed?
No.
Or those are still your issues, or has this virus crisis changed any of your issues that you've had?
They are 100% still my issues, but I've added a little rift. And this is why you need an accountant. This is why you need an accountant in Congress. Larry, let me ask you this. How much does it cost your children and your future relatives to give $350 billion to taxpayers?
Wow.
It costs it, but how much does it cost to do that? It costs $2 trillion. You don't need a calculator to say that $2 trillion does not equal $350 billion. So you don't need an accountant to tell you. As an accountant, I'll tell you this. But it costs your future generations $2 trillion to get $350 billion in aid. The numbers don't add up. So when you had an opportunity for Congress and your elected officials to do the right thing and get aid to these people that are impacted by this virus, they padded their donors' coffers. They bailed out their wealthy donors. They bailed out their friends and gave you table scraps. So my campaign has become a very aggressive campaign, almost to the point of, and you're seeing it, these people are starting to hopefully wake up and realize that, sorry, I need a haircut. I look homeless, but I need a black market haircut pretty soon. But these people are starting to realize, holy crap, April 1st, your rent was due. Your mortgage was due. Congress threw you $1,200, but they gave their donors billions.
Way more.
Yeah. Wake up, understand what's going on, don't give up, get mad, and get them out of office. It's simple as that. So my campaign has always been kind of an aggressive, an aggressive and kind of an anti-politician movement on my end. And it's gotten worse because I can tell people, look, I hate to see people struggling. I hate to see people going without. But maybe this is what we need to impact consistent and massive change across this country.
I love what you're saying.
Yep.
There's a problem.
Yes.
Fear.
Yes.
There's a lot of people right now who are just super afraid. They don't want to make a change. They're worried. They're scared. I mean, literally, if you watch CNN, there's a body count every single day. MSNBC has a body count. Fox News is a body count. Here are the people who are dying. Cuomo, our governor, our illustrious dear leader, His Majesty, King Andrew II, is on every day saying how, without him, we'd all be dead. So everyone's dying. The world's ending. The streets are empty. In New York City, I've got a cop or a cop car every third block waiting to give people fines of now up to $1,000. Started at $250, went to $500. Now it's up to $1,000. If you're not doing, if you're not out, wear your papers, right? This is now East Germany. The Stasi is what we are in 1960. That's who we are in New York City now. So that's where we're becoming. We're afraid. So look, you know this. I mean, when people are afraid, they tend to make bad decisions. It's human nature. And when groups of people are afraid, they can't wait to get the strong man or socialism. Now, if you lean left, your strong man's Biden or Bernie, right? Bernie's gone now, but it was Bernie. But it's Biden. Biden, save me, right? Or if you lean right, it's Trump. Trump, save me. Everybody wants that to happen. How do we get around that and get them to go, I know I'm afraid, but this Duane guy, these libertarians, they may have an answer. How do we do that?
Well, that's simple. It's a simple solution. And what really bothers me about the media is Jim Ostrowski and I have been hammering the local media for like 2 months about our solution, the libertarian solution to fix this crisis, and we got ignored. Well, guess what? Some of the solutions you're seeing. You're seeing libertarian solutions.
Yes.
The FDA has so what happens is I'm gonna take a side note and explain. As an accountant, as an accounting owner, small business owner, H&R Block actually a couple of years ago lobbied Congress, and they lobbied Congress to make it harder for people to do their taxes. More forms needed. Yeah, fun fact. Why would H&R Block do that? So you don't do your own taxes.
Yes.
I use H&R Block as an example because I can talk about that all day. That is also what Big Pharma does. Big Pharma, these massive corporations that build medical equipment, that build vaccines, that build pills, they lobby Congress to make more stringent regulations so their small businesses cannot compete.
But it was for safety, Duane, because they care about us.
And how did that work out now that you can't take a coronavirus test?
Yep.
You feel safe right now that there's a test you can take that's been in the market for 50 days. Or no, I'm sorry. It's been pending FDA approval for 50 days.
Yep.
We could have had tests 50 days ago. Why are we shut down? Because we don't know who has it.
Right.
Well, why don't we know who has it? Because I can't take a test. Why can't I take a test? Because it's pending FDA approval. Why is it pending FDA approval? Because it hasn't gone through the progressively stringent regulations. This all could be prevented in a libertarian-based society. Now, people watching say, well, libertarians, isn't that Mad Max society in a road without streetlights? No, Dingleberry. A libertarian society is allowing more freedom, but at the same time, cutting some of these stringent, overbearing regulations that have unintended consequences. Those unintended consequences are small businesses, you and me, unable to compete with the massive corporations. I can't compete with Pfizer.
Yep.
You and I right now could develop a cure for coronavirus. we can't get it to the market because we can't compete with Pfizer.
Correct.
People die.
Yep.
What if we, and I see it because my district is mostly farmers. Tyson does the same thing. Hey,
yes.
The FDA needs to be more stringent on how you kill your cows to send them to market.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? Well, it's simple because Tyson, my slaughterhouse, my corporate slaughterhouse, I'm sending 1,000 cows a week to slaughter. So those costs are allocated over a larger amount. It's basic accounting. If I have $1 million fee to slaughter these cows, the more cows, the less you allocate the expense per cow. But my dad, who's a small business farmer, has 50 cows. Well, that $1,000 fee allocated over 50 cows adds up. He has to charge more for the same product to cover his costs. So that's where you're seeing a lot of these progressive rules being used by big government, or pardon me, by big corporations to price out the little guy.
No, I get everything you're saying. I do.
Yep.
What I'm getting at is this makes logical sense. I'm with you, brother. I'm 100% with you. It makes logical sense.
Yes.
But fear isn't logical, right?
Right.
Fear is emotional. So there are people who listen to you and go, Duane, yeah, that makes total sense, Duane. I'm in. That makes total sense. Mm-hmm. And then when they get in that booth, they're going to be afraid and go, I lean left, so I vote Biden, or I lean right, so I vote Trump. Yeah. That's my concern. I'm asking, how do we get past the fear issue? And if you haven't thought of that at the moment, it's fine. I'm just curious, is there something you think we can do to deal with that fear issue?
I hope that it's going to be tough. I'm hoping logic. I'm hoping logic and fear. If you're afraid, if you're fearful for the future, let's ask this. Is voting for the same two parties that got us here going to solve the problem? If you're afraid, channel your fear. Channel your fear into doing something new. You have
That's
nothing
brilliant,
to lose.
Duane. I love it. Channel your fear into something new. I love it.
I'm going to say something that's going to be really offensive and to some people, but I stand by this. I was doing an event out in Wyoming County, some county, and I've become kind of a bitter jerk in my political career. And so I'm going to answer Garrett's Kane question in a second, too. I have an answer for Garrett's question. But I'm at a booth, and someone comes up to me and goes, I can't vote for you. You're not Republican. And I said, you're right. I'm not Republican. I'm libertarian. And he goes, well, I'm only voting for the Republican. I go, well, what part of my policy platform do you not agree with? And some Republicans say, I can't support legalization of cannabis, or I can't support this. And I say, I understand. I think that we can agree on these things, and your candidate's a joke, but whatever. I understand. And he goes on, he goes, I don't know anything about you, but you're not a Republican, so you're useless, or something like that. And I laughed at him. And, crowds gathered, there's like 10, 50 people around. And I said, you think you're burning me or making me feel bad, but you're making me feel bad for you. And he said, well, why is that? I'm telling you, you're not getting my vote, so you should feel bad. I'm like, all you just told me in so many words was, you're unable to think for yourself. You can't do your research, and you have to vote for who someone else tells you to vote by putting an R or D after their name. You're being manipulated and conned, and you're not a free-thinking voter. I feel bad for you that you're not going to vote for someone by a letter after their name. You're half the reason why we're in this mess, first of all. And second of all, you just told me that you're unable to think for yourself.
So when you say to the person, obviously that person's upset, I get it. But the people around, how did they respond to that? Were they angry at you, angry at him? They walk away, did they not care? What did they do?
They loved it. Larry, they loved it. Because they said, this guy's blinded by his ignorance. But Duane is correct. He was just told that I'm not going to vote for you because of a letter after your name. I know nothing about your policy. I know nothing about your platform. I don't even know what you're running for. But because there's not an R or D after your name, I can't vote for you. And people stopped and said, you're right. They were taking my information. They were asking me questions. They said, holy crap, he's right. Why are we voting for people based on a letter after their name? What has it gotten us?
You've just brought something up that's very important to me. And that is, understanding that when you get into some type of debate or back and forth with someone who's obviously your political enemy, right? That the debate isn't to convince that person. The debate is to convince those watching.
Yes.
Right. That's
absolutely.
the whole goal, because the guy who's like, I love, whatever, socialism, or I love Trump, or insert thing they love, right? They've decided that that's what it is. They become that person. The issue becomes, you're probably not going to change them at all. Even if you happen to win the argument, they may go, yeah, you're right. They're going to go, but I love my guy or my thing. It's
There's
the
nothing
people
I can do.
who are around watching go, huh?
That's
Yes.
And that's one thing I tell a lot of libertarians is, with the name calling and the straw man and this and that, there are people out there that will never vote for you. You could let's be honest, and this is why my race is so important. 100 million people didn't vote in 2016.
Yes.
There are people that Donald Trump or Bernie Sanders can walk into your house, punch your grandma in the face, and kick your dog as he leaves. Oh, I gotta vote for him.
Got to.
Grandma's probably a bad guy. I trust him.
Yes.
We're never gonna get those votes.
I didn't know you were a terrorist, Grandma. When did that happen?
Grandma's either a terrorist or she's literally Hitler. I don't know.
Yes.
But there's nothing you can do. And then those same people, Bernie Sanders or Donald Trump, can give you a kidney, save your life, and devote a statue in your honor. You still wouldn't vote for them.
Right.
We're never going to get those votes. But those are an extreme minority. They just happen to vote a lot.
Yes.
There's probably 25 million on the left, 25 million on the right on a national level. That's only 50 million people. There's still 150 million voters that can sway this election. Mm-hmm. And that's our target market. If you're one of the 100 million people that didn't vote in 2016 because you gave up, you had no faith in the candidates, you think it's a joke, you can truly sway this election to a third party. And that's kind of what my race has become, is that there's like 150 to 200,000 blank or unaffiliated voters in my district. Mm-hmm. They tend to lean red, but in 2018, they went blue. If we can reach them, they can come gold. I win. It's a numbers game. Well, third parties can't win. Well, that's factually incorrect, because
I agree.
How voting works is you pull a lever and it's a vote for a vote. One thing we have to fight with, and this is another thing that's kind of offensive, but at that same event, one of my friends who's a social worker, she stopped by my booth and was talking to me. And she heard some of the things people were saying to me. And later she calls me and goes, can I say something that's going to be kind of weird? She goes, I'm a social worker. I'm a counselor. I work with abuse victims. And she goes, some of the things that people told you why they won't vote for you is eerily similar to what I hear from manipulated and abused victim, emotional abuse victims.
Absolutely.
If you don't vote for me, vote blue no matter who. Why? Why is Joe Biden entitled your vote? Your party. I'll never vote for Bernie Sanders. But the DNC robbed Bernie Sanders in 2016, and they're going to do it again in 2018. Don't support the guy. Won't vote for the guy. I can acknowledge he was robbed. If you're a Bernie fan, voting for Biden is essentially saying, you screwed me, but it's okay, buddy, because it could always be worse.
Yep.
Corruption is corruption. Whether your party does it, my party does it, it's simple as that.
So I know you punched me in the face, but you could have kicked me, so I'm going to take the punch.
Yeah. Yes. You punched me in the face, but Orange Man bad. Okay. What your party's done is terrible too. Hold your party accountable.
There's a lot of violence going on today in our show. Tony's worried. He doesn't want us to punch his grandma if you get elected.
No promises. Look, I make no promises.
He might, Tony. He might. I'm just saying, he might. Actually,
your grandma can be. Your grandma can.
Died. He told a very horrible, terrible joke just now. Tony, shame on you.
That went dark, Tony.
That was really bad. That was really bad, Tony. Really bad. I still love you, Tony, but that was bad. Okay. Yes.
Well, I mean, no, but the thing is that that's why you're firing these people up, and that's what fired me up was, a lot of people say, well, Duane, you're a tax accountant. You make money doing taxes. You are supported by the government. Yeah, I will gladly put myself out of a job if it means lowering tax regulations. I won't have a job I'll become a, I got nothing. I was going to make a joke, but I'm not going to make it. I don't know. I'm okay with it.
I get it. So
I'll figure it out.
So let's go back then to two different questions I want to pick up. The first one is this one here. Is it constitutional to force people to wear masks?
I would say no. I would say it's not. And now here's what you're going to say, because people tend. Here's one thing that confused me during this whole outbreak. One of my opponents kind of took a shot at libertarians, and a lot of my friends who are pro-Bernie. Well, this is a libertarian society because they're spreading the virus. How can you blame a party that has no federally elected officials, has no impact on platform or policy, for a crisis?
Absolutely.
We have no impact on policy. How did we cause this? It's insane. But
I want to be clear on something though, right? Locally, in a lot of stores in New York City where we are, those that are open, they are mandating that you wear a mask when you come in a store. In fact, they actually have a bin full of new masks. You can take a mask when you walk in, and gloves. Can the government force you? No. But can a private institution? Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You don't have to go into that store if you don't want to, right? So if the store says you need to wear a mask to go into my store, you need to wear a mask, or don't go in the store, right?
You have the ability to free market to go somewhere else.
Absolutely. So while the government can't say, an individual can. You can say, don't come in my house unless you wear a mask. You don't have to come in my house, right? It's okay. You can go in your own house and wear whatever you want to wear.
And people are going to say, well, you don't want people wearing masks in public. And people then all of a sudden get so there's no political debate in this country. It becomes, you see it with the gun control argument. If I say I'm pro-gun, I love watching school shootings. That's factually incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing, well, if you don't want people wearing masks in public, you support the spread of the virus. Anyone who says that, I have a hard time having an intelligent conversation with, because they're so emotionally driven. They're not listening to the facts.
Yes.
Clearly, I don't want this virus to spread. Clearly, I want this to end sooner than later. I mean, let's talk about the impact on small business. I have 38 payroll clients that would run payroll, 38 clients a week running payroll. Only 6 of them are running payroll. Not only does that hit me at a $900 a week, $900 a week shot to my billing, but I have those 30 clients not running payroll. That's 8 to 10 employees per. That's 300 people out of a job.
Absolutely.
And so it's a nightmare. It's a mess. And people are like, well, the government's going to tell me what to do. The government's the reason why we're in this mess. Progressive regulations and progressive government has got us into this mess. And people say, well, Andrew Cuomo is doing a great job. For the record, we had a better option in 2018. Some of you may have heard of him. His name was Larry Sharpe.
That guy's a jerk. That guy.
Yeah, he's terrible. But I would have liked to see you in charge of this. I think it would have been a lot different.
I agree.
I would have liked to hope that you would appoint me to the head of security. I could be asking people for their papers. But no, it was one of those things where I get a kick out of people saying, well, the libertarian philosophy was flawed. One of my opponents actually took a shot at it. And my response is, how stupid must you be? And I'm sorry to say this, but I stand by this, that you think you can blame a party that has no impact, kind of takes a shot at us and me saying this. The Libertarian Party has no federal officers. We have no impact on federal policy. So you're blaming the party that didn't impact the policy for this problem?
Yep.
You are absolutely deflecting because you don't have an answer.
Mm-hmm.
And that shows right there. But
let me go back to Garrett's question. How does the Libertarian Society ensure food and drug safety?
I'm glad he asked. Garrett, I'm going to take a page out of another great candidate, probably the best libertarian candidate we've ever had in the country, Larry Sharpe.
That guy's a jerk.
He's super mean.
He is.
Larry Sharpe, you're Larry Sharpe. Watching you, you made a good comment when talking about corporations, holding corporations accountable. And I'm going to expand on it. You said making it simpler to pierce the corporate veil. If you're a corporation and you screw something up, let's talk about proper food and safety. Romaine lettuce, how'd that work out for us? We have the FDA.
Every other month there's a romaine lettuce scare.
Right. Because big companies just pay the fines. We have it in our area with Tonawanda Coke. The only reason why Tonawanda Coke finally got shut down was they couldn't pay their fines anymore. So, you can't pay your fine. Now you got to stop causing cancer. We're going to shut you down. They've been fining them for decades. We know it's been a problem for 50 years, but they just write a check to the government. Hey, EPA, here's $100,000. Get off my back. Okay, we'll be back in 5 years with our mafioso strongmen. You're seeing it now with vaping. Well, vaping's bad. You shouldn't do it. I don't smoke. I don't vape. I understand that. But to ban vaping isn't solving the problem. My favorite part of that, let's talk about the vaping ban, and this kind of goes with the FDA. I was at a friend's house watching the news, and they were talking about the vape ban and how people were dying from the cartridges. And they have this gotcha moment. They're going to show you why you shouldn't vape. And they said, we're on the phone. We're going to meet with a vape shop owner. We're going to get him. We're going to show you why vape shop owners are bad guys. And they said, hey, vapors are dying. And he goes, yeah, they're buying black market cartridges. Well, why are they buying black market cartridges? Well, because the taxes and regulations are so high, I have to charge $55 for this product that's FDA certified and legit, but I can go, and he pulls it up and goes, I can go online and buy this from China for $22 because it's not FDA certified or legit. Those taxes and regulations are getting pushed onto the consumer. Well, people are dying, right? Because they're buying knockoff goods. Well, the government just raised taxes on vaping. Correct. Because people died on black market goods, we're going to raise the tax that get passed on to the consumer to open the black market. And now we're going to ban it so you can't get it legally. You can't get it legally, so now you have to go to the black market where people are dying. Does no one understand the flaw in this logic? And I'm watching, and the newswoman didn't get it. She had no understanding what this guy was saying. And he's literally proving the flaw in the plan is that by forcing these companies to raise their prices or stop selling product, you're sending them to the market that's killing them. No one cares. And that's one thing that we're working on here in New York State in my district is working with local vape shops. And I said this last night, but a lot of my friends and family say, hey, Duane, I don't do politics. A lot of business owners, I don't get involved in politics. Well, let me put it this way. If you don't do politics, politics will do you.
Yes, it will.
Simple as that. You can say, I'll tell you what, when your taxes go up and your employee taxes go up, you tell the government, hey, I don't do politics. I need a lower tax rate. They're going to shut you down. You do politics. You can say you don't, but you have to get involved. And it's starting to get these people fired up to realize that not getting involved is essentially allowing big government to win.
Yes.
And so we're working with a lot of local small businesses, a lot of local vape shops, a lot of local industries, and saying, hey, look, I'm not saying get a tattoo on your neck that says I'm libertarian and I hate the government.
I'm not against that, by the way. If you want to get that, go ahead.
If you want to get my logo tattooed on your neck, go ahead. But it's just getting involved and just learning, and even behind the scenes, allowing people to do events and working with us. That's something, And a lot of these people say, well, if we get politics involved, people are gonna if we get politics involved, people aren't gonna like us. You're not gonna be around if you don't get involved. Think about the vape shops that said, well, if we get political, we may lose clients.
Have you seen the pillow, My Pillow guy?
Yeah.
Have you seen Hobby Lobby? They're all political. They're making a killing. Chick-fil-A?
They're on the wrong side, but they're on the wrong side. But that's what we need. A
libertarian. Doesn't matter. My point is, there's tons of people who get politically active and still make money, right? I mean, you don't lose. Look, am I in any way, shape, or form feel like gay people shouldn't have rights or LGBT communities in any way lower or worse? Chick-fil-A's leadership has said things like that. Would I still go to Chick-fil-A if I like Chick-fil-A? I would. I'm just being forward. I don't eat carbs because I'm crazy, so I can't get the sandwich. But if I did, I would go to Chick-fil-A. I would. It wouldn't change what I was thinking.
That's why you look like you look like, and I look like I eat carbs. But no, my thing too is that the libertarian, I'm a little biased, and I've actually lost clients because of my libertarian views.
Sure.
I'm not gonna lie. And I've gained many more, and here's why. Why do you want a libertarian accountant? You come to get your taxes done, and for an hour and a half, I just tell you how terrible the government is, and I'll make sure I do everything I can to make sure you're paying legally as little taxes as possible, because those guys are a bunch of weenies that don't deserve your money. So it works out pretty well. But
it looks like Eric wants to get your tattoo, by the way.
Yeah, he's one of my clients, so he can stop
right
by.
Across, brother. Right across.
But no, it's funny because people always ask. They say, isn't it kind of ironic that you're a libertarian accountant? I said this furthered my libertarian beliefs, and it's become pretty full circle that I've started fighting, and the IRS just came out and said straight up they're not even shielding their honesty anymore. Yeah, we audit low-income and middle-class taxpayers because they can't afford representation. So, that sounds like a them problem. They don't even care anymore.
You got to make money somehow if you're the government. So you scam the people who can't fight back, right? This is one of the reasons that drives me crazy, and I'm preaching to the choir here. But this is the same idea with audits, the same idea with civil asset forfeiture. It's the same idea. People who can't defend themselves are the ones the government goes after because they're the easiest targets, right? The government is predatory, and the predators always go after the weak.
But Larry, that makes no sense. Orange Man's bad. Trump's bad. We should put him in charge of healthcare. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
A winning combination. I don't like, if you don't like Trump but want the government to have more control, you do realize how this ends. Not well.
Yes.
I never understand. That's one of my things is that when I talk to a lot of my friends, they say, well, I just think government should be in charge of healthcare. And the next thing is, Donald Trump's literally Hitler.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, if you don't, that's how I've felt for the last 15 years. I haven't felt comfortable with any of our elected presidents. I don't want them to have any power. And so that's one thing I always do weirdly too, is that I want to be in DC and I want to tear it down. I acknowledge that we'll talk about education in a second here because I want to rant about education. But let's talk about what happens on a federal level. You vote for a representative, I go to DC, and then I pass bills that run your life. I don't know how to live. I don't know how to tell a farmer in Wyoming County how to live his life. Why should I be passing laws? Let local government do it, or don't let him live his life. As long as he's not hurting people, as long as he's not killing people and committing crazy acts of violence or fraud or theft or vandalism. How do I know? Same thing with Albany. I'm voting in Buffalo, New York. How do I know what that banker in Manhattan needs to know how to live? I don't know anything about his life. That's why deregulation and decentralization is the way to go.
Yes.
But let's talk about education. I got an argument. One of my friends is a teacher. So what I've been doing lately, and all my friends hate me right now, is I've been making all my friends and family take the I Side With quiz to see where they rank. Yes. So I made one of my friends take it, and we're not friends anymore. Unfortunately, it wasn't pretty. I think it was like 8% libertarian. I said, "Ooh, honey, we're not going to get along." But she's a teacher, and so I kind of said, it's ironic that you're supporting large government as a teacher. She goes, "Well, why? The government helps us." I go, "Let's talk about the federal government's impact on teachers. Let's just talk about it." We got No Children Left Behind, colossal failure.
Yep.
Common Core, colossal failure. Teacher evaluations, colossal failure.
Yep.
Standardized testing, colossal failure. What is the federal government? The education isn't mentioned at all in the Constitution, so it should be up to the states.
But we're pushing. The worst part is we're pushing out some of the best teachers, right?
Right.
They
can't do their job. Right. Let teachers teach. Let teachers do their job. I'm not a teacher. Why the hell should I be telling a teacher how to do their job?
You know what drives me the most crazy though on this one? In almost every place you go, they demand teachers have this degree, that degree, this credential, that credential, this amount of experience, this amount of teaching time. So much stuff. Then administrators tell them how to teach.
Yeah.
Why did you make the teacher get all of these credentials? You're literally getting someone who is savvy and smart and learned and an academic genius. They jump through hoops. Now they get into an actual classroom and you go, shh, do what I say.
Oh,
if you're going to do that, then don't let them just hire high school graduates. That's all. If you're going to dictate every single thing they do, then why do they get all credentials then?
Because it's a great money-making scheme.
Yes.
But let's talk about that too. Let's talk about teachers and how who tells them how to do their job. The administrators get it from DC and Albany.
Yes.
So you got a bunch of people in DC and Albany who didn't go to public school, whose kids don't go to public school, who haven't set foot in a public school, saying, "Hey, public school teachers, here's how you do your job." That's terrible. That is incorrect. That's why our test scores are failing on a world level. It's not because we have bad teachers. It's because we have bad policymakers.
Yes.
Teachers are a victim of overbearing government. And the unions say, keep voting Democrat. But the everyday average teachers need to have a vote revolt where they say, no more. We're done. And they say, well, Duane, if we vote for someone else, maybe we'll lose our paycheck. You're not going to lose your paycheck.
No.
The libertarians understand how important you guys are.
Yes.
We're not idiots. You know, and so
when I ran for governor, at what point did I ever say teachers lose money? Now, to be forward, I was anti-administrator. That's true, and I still am.
Well,
I was anti-administrator, and I was about getting rid of those administrators, particularly those that their job is to ensure federal compliance. That was my number one issue. You get rid of those administrators, you can give teachers raises or hire assistants or give them more funds to put in their classroom. Or again, to your point, I don't know what the teacher needs. That teacher might need an assistant. They might need more equipment. They might need all types of things. But if we free up the administrators, the teachers can get what they need, whatever that is.
So there's a website called See Through New York. You can actually see salaries and incomes of people that work in schools.
Yep.
Look at how much administrators make.
Tons. All of them make six figures.
4 to 5 times what teachers make.
The least expensive one, the cheapest one, makes double.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there's your problem. Well, as a teacher, I'm spending $500 a month on books for my kids and stuff. Well, yeah, because we're paying an administrator $150,000 a year to review red tape paperwork passed down by the federal government. Because here's how the government works. The federal government is made up of incompetent individuals with no idea how to fix anything, right? So what they do is they say, we have an education problem. If we throw money at it, we can say, look, we passed $1 billion education stimulus package. We're helping. You're not doing anything. But people say, $1 billion. They're investing. The government is investing in me.
See that? I love that.
It's terrible. And so, you know, I've been saying it. I actually take a quote from Trump. I'm in a pro-Trump district, very pro-Trump. We're actually probably the most pro-Trump district in the North. And I steal a quote from Donald Trump when I talk to him. New York State, when it comes to voting for Larry, I hope you run again. When it comes to vote for Larry and it comes to vote for me in NY27, what do you have to lose by doing something different? Give me one group. Well, if I vote for you, you might be bad. We're sending our teenagers to die overseas. Mm-hmm. We're mortgaging our children's futures in debt. We're padding big government and big corporations' pockets with corporate welfare.
Yep.
How can it get worse? It can't. You have nothing to lose. I'm trying to coin this, and it's not going very well, but I bet if you say it, it'll work. Consumer-driven politics. And let's explain. As a business person, it's simple. Let's talk about why there should be more than 2 parties. You and I are hungry. Well, we're at 2 different places because of the virus. When I come to visit you eventually, we're going to get something to eat. We're going to look at a map, and there's going to be 50 restaurants, all different cuisines, all different items. Yep. It's not going to be McDonald's and Burger King, because that's the Republican and Democrat Party, McDonald's and Burger King. Same product, and you get diarrhea after working for them. It's simple as that.
And you get diarrhea. Love that.
Yeah, you're sick to your stomach. Well, I voted for the lesser of two evils. Oh, I feel like crap. Yeah. There's more than 2 restaurants. It's not just McDonald's and Burger King. And then we sit down to eat, and it's not, well, you can get the chicken or the fish. It's tons of items, tons of choice, you know? Then you go to vote, which decides your future, red team or blue team. And they're both the same. And hey, none of them really care for you. By the way, we're $23 trillion in debt, and your friends are dying in Iraq. So congratulations. You got nothing. And so it's time for a third party. It's time for consumer-driven politics. And they say, well, Duane, if I vote for the third party, I'm throwing away my vote. You're not, because, and here's why. Every Friday, let's say every Friday, you and I go out to dinner at the same place every Friday. Mm-hmm. We've been voting Democrat or Republican for 30 years. We go to the same, we're all about continuity, and we don't like change. Mm-hmm. All right, we go to the same place for 10, 15 years, same restaurant every Friday for 10, 15 years. Well, the quality starts to go downhill. They overbill us. They're burning our food. The waiter calls me fat. Well, am I going to keep going there? Am I going to say, well, Larry, if we don't keep going to this restaurant that we got food poisoning and you almost died and I was in hospital for 4 days, it might be worse. The other place might be worse.
Yes.
Guess what we're going to do? We're going to go to a different restaurant. And what's going to happen? That restaurant's going to have to get its act together and start doing better, or it's going to go out of business.
Both are a win.
Bernie fans, there's your solution. Vote third party. Your Democrats might get massacred in 2020, but one of 2 things is going to happen. They're going to run better candidates, or the third party is going to take over. Simple as that.
Both are a win.
Republicans in New York State, your party cannot win. Your party has failed you. Democrats who only vote blue in New York State, your party has failed you. Let's talk about Andrew Cuomo's promises. UB 2020, fail. Buffalo Billion, fail. Legalization of marijuana, fail. Your governor has failed you. He is lying to you. He is locking up minorities for possession of a drug or a possession of a plant. Stop voting for them. Move on. Send a message. Try something new. You're going to enjoy it. It's simple as that. We have nothing to lose by walking away. I did it. Larry did it. People are doing it by the million, well, maybe not millions, but by the hundreds every day. Agreed. Send that message. Get involved. And I'll tell you what, even if you're an NY27 and you don't vote for me, you vote for the green guy. I respect it. I do. Let's do something different. Our future is at stake. $23 trillion in debt. No balanced budget. Never-ending war. My friends and family. Larry, you're a Marine. You get it. My friends and family went overseas, and if they came back, they're physically and mentally not the same.
Yep.
Let's do something different.
Absolutely.
We have nothing to lose.
So tell people how to get a hold of you. How to help.
So the best way to help is to send me all your money, but let's not, well, one thing I did notice is in campaigning, my district's really weird in the sense that I live in Hamburg, New York, which has a population of 60,000 people. Wyoming, Livingston, Genesee, Orleans, and I think maybe parts of Niagara, they don't have 60,000 people in the county. So it's a really weird district. There's Hamburg, which is a nice suburb. Clarence is a nice suburb of Buffalo. And then you got like these small towns that are poverty-stricken.
There are 60,000 people in 1 square block of Manhattan.
Yeah, that sounds terrible. Can't do it. But, and so if you want to get involved, DuaneWhitmer.com, send me money. And a lot of people that tell me this, Duane, I can't donate to you. I have no money. Yes. I live in New York State. And you know what? Share my posts.
Yes.
Send some friends or family my way. I'll tell you what. I'll send you 100 door hangers and just go through your neighborhood and do door hanging. Because I'll tell you what, if I reach enough voters in this district, they're pissed off enough to come our way. Mm-hmm. It's simple as that.
I love
These people are beat down. They're watching their previous congressman. Chris Collins is going to jail. The jail he's going to will be nicer living accommodations than some people in my district have.
Yep.
He is going to a white-collar prison where he'll probably be able to golf. Most people in my district can't afford it. He'll have nicer living conditions than people that live in my district.
I appreciate it. All right.
We can,
Duane, I want to say thanks.
Yep.
We'll come back on an hour. I wanted to give you a good hour so people could see you, talk to you, get some questions. If you want to go through some of the comments afterwards and respond directly to some of the people, feel free. DuaneWhitmer.com. What's your Facebook, Twitter? Tell me those.
Crap. Facebook is Duane Wimmer for Congress.
Yep.
Twitter and Instagram, I think, is Duane for NY27. It's on my website. I'm terrible. Unlike our current president, I'm not good with the Twitter or the Instagram because I
put the stuff on the comments too, so people can look at it. I put it there also.
And one reason why I'm not big on Twitter is because while my opponents are pretending to impact change as politicians, I actually have a job that I have to do. I work with small business to actually impact change. So I'm actually living it. So it's hard to do both. But
Excellent.
My Facebook page is pretty active and stuff like that. So.
All righty. Guys, thank you so much for today, for watching. Duane, thank you for coming on. I appreciate your time, brother.
Thank you for having me. It's
I know
always
you got
nice
a lot of stuff going on. It's tax time coming up, so this is your busy season, I know. All right, brother. Have a good one.
Thank you. Hey, take care and have a good one. Bye, Larry.